What's going on there, folks? It is Earthmaster here checking in on this Thursday night, August 23rd, 2018, 9:41 p.m. Pacific time here, and going to cover some earthquake data and also Hurricane Lane. We'll take a look at that first off and see exactly where this thing is headed. I do want to show you guys here the latest radar map over here. You got the big island of Hawaii out here. You can clearly see the defining eye out here with Hurricane Lane bringing in quite a bit of rainfall with this system here, and it's going to continue for quite some time, hitting the smaller islands up here as well. There's already flash flood warnings and whatnot in effect for the Hawaii region. The direction of this storm, I can show you a little bit better on this map right here. Let's see if we can find it here. Let's go over here to, here we go. Central Pacific satellite here. This here is just the latest one. I just updated it. You can see a lot of it, a lot of the hurricane still being sheared off, just pretty much tore apart by these westerlies up here. That's kind of like a force for the hurricane to go up against. It's gonna get torn apart and squashed for the most part. And it's happening rather rapidly with this hurricane. You can see the island. Let's zoom back out a little bit here. You can see over here the outline of the big island of Hawaii and the smaller islands up here in the outlining region. And taking a look at the hurricane itself, the general direction of Lane, still kind of wanting. It's still kind of being stubborn, wanting to head to the west and northwest. It looks as though within the past hour, it looks as though it may have just tried to take a northerly flow due north. That's just my observations here on the satellite, but still just getting shredded apart. It's still a very potent system. A lot of rainfall associated with that, and no doubt some wind as well. We're looking at current wind speeds of 120 miles per hour with Hurricane Lane, putting it at a hurricane category down here in the Category 3 stage. But it's weakening pretty substantially there, and no doubt will be Category 2 here probably before the night's over, if not lower, because it's just getting shredded to pieces, and it sucks to see a beautiful system like that get shredded. But for the folks of Hawaii, it's probably a good thing. This here's the latest from the Hurricane Lane Discussion Center, Central Pacific Hurricane Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. The weakening, like I just mentioned, the weakening trend is underway. Over the past several hours, the CDO of Lane has become there we go with these. Check out that name. I know how to pronounce it, but elliptical, I don't know. Okay, I know that word, but I can't think of it right now. As strong shear, there's the shear right there, 25 to 35 knots in the shear analysis. A lot of big words and weather meteorology terms up here right now, so I won't go ahead and pronounce that stuff just for your sake and my sake too. But it's getting torn apart, folks. It was just a Category 5 hurricane just a day or so ago, and it's dying. It's in its phase of dying. But like I said, there's still quite a bit of rainfall associated with this system as it does make its way west of the Hawaiian Islands region. Let's see, where's this map right here? These are just watches and warnings right now here in Hawaii. Looks as though I'm seeing some flood warnings, obviously, flood watch, flood warnings. And of course, flood warning is issued when flooding is occurring or is about to occur. They're already having some flash flooding over there. Lots and lots of rainfall. If not, this rainfall will be recorded in feet. And, it's going to be a lot there, that's for sure. Oops, get that back here. So yeah, flood warnings, flood watches in effect for all the islands right there as this Hurricane Lane makes its way up northwest region Let me go back over here and check this real quick. Oh yeah, the movement right here, the movement of the hurricane is northwest. It did take kind of a northerly trend. It's been headed towards the northwest for quite some time overnight, or during the day today and last night, but now it's kind of taking the northwesterly turn. So a little bit northward movement at 5 miles per hour. Pressure on this thing 959 MB, and yeah, it's like I say, it's dying. It's not that hard to see here on this satellite picture right here. But there's a lot of moisture definitely associated with all those bands right there. Lots and lots of moisture out there. Here's the trajectory track of the hurricane itself via Intellicast.com. I use numerous different websites for my weather observations and satellites. It's good to get a wide range of people's or sites, predictions and whatnot. This here I find to be pretty accurate for the most part. This here is a Pacific analysis of Hurricane Lane. You can see, let me see if I can zoom in just a tad bit here. You can see the purple outline here indicating the hurricane warnings, right? Hurricane warnings right there for the Big Island, and also for these couple other islands up here. I'm not too familiar with Hawaii when it comes to the island chains, but it's beautiful country, let me tell you. I'm going to get over there here pretty soon. Not to be a tourist. Well, I guess I will be a tourist, huh? But I will be away from the beaches and whatnot. I'll just be exploring the volcanoes and whatnot here in the very near future. And a hurricane watch up here on this little smaller island. Of course, by then we're looking at it dropping dramatically as far as wind speeds and whatnot goes. According to these folks here at Intellicast, 150 mile per hour gust. Maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour, moving once again northwest at about 5 knots. Pressure 959 right there. But looking at this track here, we're looking at the time frame, 12 GMT General Mountain Time, I'm guessing. Is that it? On Friday, it's still, like I say, it's slowing down dramatically. So these folks here in the Big Island and other smaller islands out there are just going to get hammered with rain. But luckily for them, they're not going to get the full force of this system, kind of like the media was portraying. They were saying that Hawaii's going to get slammed. Well, they're getting slammed with rain, but it's a tropical island out there. It's going to get slammed with rain. But it's definitely not going to get the full brunt that this system had just a short time ago, when it was south and southeast of the Hawaiian Islands range, when it was a Category 5 hurricane, which is pretty crazy. So we're looking at 110 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour. Like I say, it's dropping down dramatically when it reaches these dates right here. 85 miles per hour, 75. Once it gets up here, looks like maybe 60, 75, about 75, but then it's got 40 miles per hour up here within the time frame of Tuesday or Sunday to Tuesday. But this is still just an analysis of it. Everything can change the course of this. Anything can change the course of this hurricane. Any type of further westerlies going on, or some weakening of the westerlies may allow this thing to strengthen. It's hard to say. Weather models and computer graphics can only do so much, and stuff changes hourly. I know that for sure. When I'm out storm chasing, I look at different maps and GFS models and HRR models, which is high resolution radar prediction. And trust me, even out in Oklahoma, Texas region, they can change dramatically. But it does give a general idea of possibly what to expect, and sometimes it does work out perfect. Other times it's like, wait a minute, there was supposed to be a thunderstorm here, but it's gone. Where'd it go? So, yeah, weather models can only do so much. We're not 100% perfect when it comes to that, but this is just a general idea of what these folks here at Intellicast are predicting. Still staying west of the islands here, never actually crossing over Like I say, it could go. These are a couple different charts here. You know, it could. They're stating that it goes up and then just moves over here directly due west, and then takes off as a low pressure system off towards the northwest. But you know, we'll see what happens over the next 24 hours or so, the progression and the direction that this hurricane makes. See if it's going to weaken even more or if it stays the same. You know, it remains to be seen, so we'll check it out. And, of course, keep you guys updated and whatnot on Hurricane Lane. Like I say, it was a beautiful hurricane there just a day or so ago. I will leave a link here on the description video for this website here at Wonderground. Once again, they're still stating Lane will pass dangerously close to the main islands. There's a hurricane on Friday. I think this here is I don't know if this is updated or not. I think it is. But either way, with the slow track of this hurricane, they're mentioning it right here. The slow movement of Lane also greatly increases the threat for prolonged heavy rainfall and extreme rainfall totals. Of course, that's what keeps the island beautiful and green, right? This is expected to lead to major life-threatening flash flooding and landslides over all Hawaii islands. Of course, surf is up, so if you're into surfing, that's the place to be right now. I know I'm not. I'm not a big fan of the deep water like that. I mean, I love the ocean, but man, I don't want to be out there surfing in a hurricane. I'd rather be out there with my camera, standing on a cliff in the wind. Yeah, that would be me. But unfortunately, that's not me right now. Take a look at earthquake data. Switch it over here from Lane to the earthquake 3D globe. Shows just a little bit of slowdown, folks, from what we've seen over the past couple days, past week or so. We've seen a large-scale unrest of large earthquakes over the Pacific Plate and in other areas close by over the past couple weeks, and that has since died down a little bit. We are still getting and seeing some earthquake activity up there in northern Alaska. You can see the activity that's occurring still. But if you look at the rings here, they're starting to get a little reddish. That's indicating some older earthquake activity and just about ready to drop off the globe as the 24-hour period expires here with the settings that I have here. A little bit of deep earthquake activity near Fiji Islands once again, as we've normally seen in the past, historically. Of course, this could ultimately be adjustments in aftershock activity following that very large mega quake they had over the last week, that 8.2 earthquake that they had. So I'm going to do something here real quick. Yeah, there's about, what do we got there? About 6.0 and above, I believe. About 6.0. Over the last week, you can see the 8.2 earthquake right there that struck Fiji Islands region. That was a mega quake at 563 kilometers below the surface. And the newer quakes here indicating in the white, not super new, but as far as like the last week goes, in the white, definitely. And also had that 6.2 off there in Oregon, off the Oregon coastline. So definitely large-scale unrest took place along the Pacific Plate and areas near the Venezuela region as well. Had that 7.3 down there. Sizable earthquake, big time. But since then, like I said, bringing back the most recent earthquakes here over the last 24 hours. Definitely shows a slowdown. I'm not for sure why it's still showing that 7.3. I think I'll have to adjust that. But definitely a slowdown out there, folks, when it comes to the activity that we've seen. And that could be the trend here. We could have just seen a pretty good size uptick for a while, and then it's just going to settle back down to how it was prior to the extreme activity. Let me check the California Nevada earthquake map here real quick that I like to check. Just your typical small little earthquakes everywhere. Nothing major. Looks like a little bit of interest down here near Avenal, Parkfield area, away from the San Andreas fault system, which is over here. Nothing major, just a couple, looks like maybe a little 2.8 there, and some ones, upper ones. Even some smaller ones in there as well. But other than that, not a whole lot to report, folks, in the earthquake department. Yellowstone, real quick, not showing any type of activity. No large earthquake activity. No large signatures of an earthquake at all. Looks pretty mellow, pretty quiet. Of this overview of seismographs at Yellowstone National Park, pretty quiet. And we'll see if it remains that way. Real-time tremor data along the Cascadia subduction zone, probably pretty quiet too. I did check this earlier. Last 3 hours only showing one little tremor detected west of Seattle. Over the last 2 days, of course, we did see a little bit of activity, but after that 6.2 that struck off the Oregon coast, we've seen this die down dramatically. But this is always something I kind of like to watch and keep an eye on. It's kind of like you know, I've explained it lots of times before. It's not really an earthquake detection, but a tremor movement. The Cascadia subduction zone showing, you know, it's tremor. It's slow slippage. It's hard to explain, but it's a really cool site to check out if you want to go to that site, tremor.pnsn.org/realtime, and you can pick up on some tremor detection dots that show up here on the map. Other than that, folks, I think I'm going to jump back over here to live stream, and if you want, jump into the live stream and say hi. We are up here 24/7, and yeah, so I got to take that 7.3 off there. I'm not for sure why that's showing up. Last 24 hours. But anyway, okay, folks, have a good day out there. We will update you if and when things change with Hurricane Lane. I'd say right now it's pretty quiet. It's just lots of rainfall for the folks out there, and of course some high surf, and continued dying and shearing of the hurricane. I think it will continue, but we will watch it and provide any updates when they become available. Have a good night out there, folks. Take care. I'll chat to you guys later.